Om Shanti, everybody. Hello. And if this is your first time joining us, then I just want to share that Om Shanti means I am peace. So we often greet each other, the Brahma Kumaris. My name is Meredith, by the way, and I'm really delighted that you're here with us today. Very spiritual and somebody who's so dedicated to the world of helping others. Marianne Weiss. Marianne is an vice president of Big Brothers Big Sisters in South Florida, as well as a longtime meditation teacher and student here with the Brahma Kumaris. And Marianne, it's good to have you on the program. I don't know where Marianne is, but she should be here in a second.
I'm here. Can you see me?
Okay, I don't see you. Oh, yay.
I'm here.
People can see you a lot on programs.
I'm here.
We do a lot of programs.
I've been listening attentively to Dan. I feel like, we're full already. What more can we say listening to him,
I feel like I've had the best spiritual breakfast or meal that I could have, and there's so much he's given me to think about. So I promised myself I will do that later. But we are just as happy to have you. And I personally know the commitment that you've had to teaching and to giving. And I think what you're doing now in the community is really impressive, which is, people often ask, what can they do? And you're one of these people that is really doing it. You're out there in the community. So Marianne, I just want to start with what's your approach to well-being? How would you describe it?
Yeah. Well, I'm certainly not an expert on the body like Dan is, but I do come from my experience of meditating since I was a kid, really, a teenager, and being curious about another realm and another world that we can all be part of and move through on our day-to-day. And for the most part, I've always been looking for truth and peace and those kind of things that are associated with spirituality. But ever since the pandemic, Meredith, I feel like well-being comes down to happiness, more than ever. And a lot of people shared that in the chat, and I've been really exploring that. And I just really, really think that that's what it's about. And I see well-being in my life as sort of in two components. This is I'm sort of oversimplifying things, but there's the well-being of the body, right? So we're the body. We have a body, but I really am the soul in the body. And at the BKs, we teach that. I am a soul, I'm a point of light that sits right here in the middle of the forehead. And so I see well-being sort of divided into those two components, the well-being of the soul and the well-being of the body. And the body is the soul's instrument, right? That's all it is. Or you could say it's also the soul's home for this lifetime. But if I, the soul, didn't have a body, I wouldn't have a mouth to express myself with, right? So I wouldn't be able to speak to you. And if you didn't have a body, you wouldn't have ears to listen to me through. So this idea that I, the soul, have to use this instrument and the relationship is intricately connected. But at the end of the day, there's the body and there's who I am, the soul. And so I see well-being as the well-being of the body. We have to treat the body right. We have to exercise. We have to sleep. We have to eat right. And then there's the well-being of the soul. And the soul is a tiny point of light that has tremendous energy. And I think the well-being of the soul, or who I am really, is intricately connected to how I cultivate that energy. And Dan used that word cultivate a lot. And I think that that's key in all aspects of well-being, is how I'm cultivating things in my life. But I think the energy of the soul is something that we have to cultivate. And now especially, right? Because we all know now how much influence that energy has on our emotional well-being, on our mental well-being, but then of course on the well-being of the body too. We know that they're intricately connected. And so I see well-being as a sort of, I categorize the two. And I've been working a lot on visualizing the energy of my soul, or the energy of the soul, strengthening, really infusing my life, and then of course infusing the body as well, so that it penetrates every cell of my DNA, every organ. And so I think that that well-being of the soul and being able to cultivate that energy to be very, very powerful really starts with having a clean heart. You know, it really starts with having a clean heart. So how do I clean my heart? And then of course we have the physical heart, which has nothing to do with the emotional heart. And so I've been spending a lot of time cleaning the heart, the emotional heart. And I see that it's a process that as soon as you start cleaning, simultaneously that energy starts to increase. The energy of the soul starts to radiate more, and that translates into ultimately happiness. But I'll just finish with this, because I know, you know, it was such a pleasure to listen to Dan, and we had the chance to. I know we're at the end of the program, but you know, we clean the heart and we clean our energy, of course, through our thoughts, right? And Dan spoke a little bit about this, but you know, one thing that has worked for me every day that I've been using this a lot is I always feel like I'm one thought away from well-being, right? I'm always one thought away from well-being, because you know, we can have dark emotions and light emotions coexisting in us, but they can't be expressed at the same time. You can't express a positive thought at the same time as you can express a negative thought, and you can't express a positive feeling at the same time that you're expressing a negative feeling. So I always feel like I'm watching my thoughts very attentively, and I'm always thinking, okay, well, I'm one thought away from being in the light, and from being in that area of well-being, and that positive thought, like Dan so beautifully outlined, how we can cultivate that productive and thinking is always that one thought away, and it's about changing. And then of course, the more seeds I plant of those thoughts, then we start to change our persona, our attitude, our feelings, and then we allow the energy of the soul to shine. So
Beautiful. So
yeah.
Are you doing it now? Because we do similar things in our practice, but I'm getting the feeling that you're adding a bit more to maybe your daily life, being more aware in your daily life, maybe even at work, when these thoughts are, how these thoughts are coming, whether they're negative or they're waste thoughts or positive thoughts. So it's not just a matter of when you sit in meditation or.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, and especially with the pandemic, you know, you and I were talking about this the other day. We all have to have support systems in our lives, you know, whether it's our friends, our families, going out, doing things that nourish the spirit. But with the pandemic, a lot, if not all of those support systems were sort of pulled from under us, right? So it's really about how I change my thought process to build the support system through my thoughts. So I now have to use my thoughts to be my support system, not so much the externals, which are always really important as well. Our community is really important. Our friends, our neighbors, our families, all those support systems are really important. But so I've shifted that a little bit, and I've taken a look at how my thoughts are supporting me. And you have to do that throughout the day. You have to do that throughout the day, so that you can spotlight, you know, how they're feeding you throughout the day. So yes, that's a yes.
Very easy to lose it. What is it they say? Use it or lose it, right? in a second,
Use it or
if you're
lose
not
it. Yeah.
using the power of your positive thoughts and nurturing thoughts and loving thoughts, all of a sudden you just slip back into that negative. What's going to happen to me? What's going to happen to the world? What? It's so easy. It's not. It's in one way it's difficult in one way until you get the hang of it, I think. And I
Yeah.
think we have days where we do have the hang of it, right? But more important is the awareness of how these little moments make a difference, don't they? Little moments of change. Dan said something, and I just wanted to share it because it relates to what you're saying, is that he said that he told me this on before, not today, that there was some kind of study that showed people people who just meditate once in the day, maybe for a long period of time, versus people that meditate a little bit through the day, 2 minutes here, 2 minutes there. And he found that people's lives changed more when they do meditation and positive thinking and trying to change themselves the way they think little by little. Now, I know the Brahma Kumaris would say you have to do both, right? But I mean, I found that interesting because a little bit at a time throughout the day helps you from getting off the tracks, right? So you don't slip down because it's a reminder. It's pressing that reminder on your phone constantly. Yeah. So I think that's very important. And I know we don't have a lot of time. I'm going over, and I hope that's okay. I do want you to do a meditation, a short meditation, because we promised meditation. I also just wanted you to say a few words about your work in the community with Big Brothers and Big Sisters, and how families that are at a disadvantage are able to be nurtured. And I know that's part of what you do and supported at this time.
Okay, sure. Well, we have about 2,000 families that we work with, and we have an amazing community of kids that have all the potential in the world, but they don't have the resources to support that potential. So at work, we do our best to strive to really cultivate their potential and to really help them move forward in life. And so we do this through mentoring. We have mentors, so we have a community of also about 2,000 mentors. We're all professionals and people in the community helping to support our kids and our families. But we also, recently we have scholarships that we give them for college. We do leadership development, but this year we kicked off, especially for our teenagers, we kicked off a self-exploration series. So we're helping them also learn some of the concepts that we're talking about here, even on really how to reflect on the self and to see and how to manage your internal world to help you navigate life, but also to see you do really well and to feel like you're enjoying life and you're happy and the future is bright. So yeah, it's really wonderful work, really wonderful. We work with a lot of community partners. We're very involved with a lot of the private sector who supports us as well. And it's beautiful work that we all really enjoy.
And I am sure that they really enjoy you and your positive energy, and you're not more than that, even your pure desire to be of help to them and to help them create well-being in their lives. And I think we're all thinking, what can we do in the world? There are things that people can do to help in some way. You don't have to have the job, but you can somehow open yourself up to what can I do to bring some change and bring some support to others. So why don't we end on a shorter meditation? And then we are going to introduce our spiritual guide, Veronica, who's going to just maybe close with a few minutes of just sharing what she's experienced today or seen or respond to. So, and Veronica is our director of the Brahma Kumaris in Miami and Florida, and we'll have her next. And she's also a world spiritual leader, teaching, going on Zoom all over the world, giving gigantic classes to big groups of people all over in different countries that are really, really in need of, again, peace and support in these days, during these times. Marianne, meditation. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So we'll do maybe just 4 minutes or so. Everybody, if You can just find a spot and relax. And just turn your attention inward, letting everything go. I separate myself from the body, feeling the space between I, the soul, the tiny point of light, and the forehead, and this instrument that I call my home. And I imagine myself as a tiny point of light, radiating a wave of energy. That slowly moves down my back, and through my arms and my torso and my legs. Filling every cell with the power of light. Pure light and clean energy. Cleansing and purifying. As it slowly moves out into the room. And now I imagine this energy slowly coming together with an energy from up above. A more powerful being of light. That my own pure energy summons. Calling me to take me to the next level. Nourishing me even more. I am lifted by this energy from up above. It purifies me. And it helps me build trust in myself, in my own capabilities to heal. By giving me the strength to continue to cultivate and do the work. And this greater energy becomes my support system. One that I can tap into at any time. When I need to be filled with love, compassion, and belonging. Om Shanti.
Thank you so much, Marianne. Thank you for being with us today. Just
one or two moments, because
Okay.
trying to say that Dan and Marianne and Yolanda too, everyone had done such a wonderful job that there's really nothing more that that I could add. And I would trust that, like myself, that even if the only part of your day has been listening to what all of you have shared, then everyone should definitely be in a state of well-being. And with Dan, because I've never heard Dan speak before in this way, and even though I always give the greatest, I always think for me the best relationship, the highest relationship is friendship. But today I felt like I was Dan's twin. I felt like he was my twin in the things that that he was sharing and saying. And had I spoken longer, then I would have taken up perhaps the aspect which Marianne did very nicely of the being as a noun rather than as verbing it, as he said. But in total agreement that it is about a return. And for me, currently, the return would be like the song from Enigma, a return to innocence. And then the feeling that even though Dan has a different title from what I may have or what Marianne may have or whatever, but that there's something happening on another level that deeply connects us. And perhaps it is just that, knowing that it is not only the time of return and being fully engaged in doing that for oneself, and knowing that in the doing, in the process, it is inevitable that you will help others to open up as well and become well. And that rather than, as Dan says, and I can see how he would probably respond to these hackneyed phrases of, you know, it's about the now. And for me, just this morning, that kind of meant that an old story is always finishing. You're allowing the old story to end, and you're always ready for the new story. And I think that's where we're at the moment. So I just want to say thank you to all of you. It was a beautiful session, really beautiful.
I am so happy that you popped back in. It just didn't feel right without you on. So, and you have been our teacher and our guide for so many years. And there are a lot of parallels, as you say, between you and Dan, what you say and what he says and how you live your lives, and with such commitment, devotion, and just the openness to constantly evolving. So thank you for being here, for sticking around. And I want to just say goodbye to everybody. Just